Hi Aquarius and Aquarius Rising, this is your November 2016 forecast. So until the 22nd of November, the Sun is going to be in your 10th house of career. So this is a very public and visible placement for the Sun, and here the spotlight really is on your career objectives, your professional skills and techniques and capabilities. And it's also going to put you potentially in the spotlight. You know, you're going to attract the attention of your peers, bosses, co-workers. So the ego drives here are really in a social context. So it is a lot more visible, it's a lot more demanding, but it can show a lot of recognition and achievement and mastery in the realm of profession and career. And this is kind of underlined with the new moon on the 30th of October in your 10th house. So this can be the start of a new career direction, or, you know, just a different take on what you're doing. The new moon has got very good aspects between the Sun, Moon, Mercury and Neptune. So, you know, you're really in touch with your feelings and your gut instincts are good. It's a very helpful new moon if you need to sell your ideas in a professional or business context. Mercury here, you're able to really paint a clear picture. Your mind is clear and incisive, so you can really sell yourself and your ideas. So in a professional context, this is really going to be of great benefit to you. It can also be helpful for opening business negotiations and for starting professional discussions. And Mercury, which is in your 10th house for the first half of the month, this is very good for improving skills and capabilities. So, you know, whatever professional techniques or tools you have at your disposal, you can refine them. Mercury in the 10th, also a very good time to perhaps take further studies to enhance your career. So if there's some skills that you need to perhaps hone or develop a little bit further, or perhaps some study around that. And it could also potentially show for some of you some opportunities for travel in a professional context. So this new moon really puts you in touch with your true motivation and purpose professionally. And it's really going to give you that voice to really make a difference in terms of communications, group discussions, business discussions and conversations. So really able to sell yourself, present yourself very articulately at this time. And Mars, which was in Capricorn in your 12th house, where it was perhaps a little bit frustrated and working behind the scenes. You know, you may have felt that people were standing in your way, or, you know, you were a little bit thwarted and you weren't really able to take the initiative as much as possible. Well, that changes when Mars moves into your first house on the 9th of November. So Mars in the first, Mars is that yang energy planet, so very physically robust and vigorous in the first. So here you're really pursuing your goals and ambitions and agendas very resourcefully. So Mars in the first, you know, you're able to assert yourself, you're able to take the initiative. So a lot of that frustrated Mars energy that you experienced in October is now kind of unleashed. So here you are, you know, able to put yourself ahead. You're very self-assertive in a good way, and you've really got the energy to back up that Sun in the 10th. So very good for career objectives, for recognition, for enhancing your reputation and social standing. And so let's look at what else is happening. Venus is in your 11th house until the 12th of November. And Venus in the 11th, it's the best placement for social activities with groups or with friends. Venus is conversely a very yin planet, so it doesn't have to do much to engineer those sorts of situations. So Venus is going to draw social contacts to you. It's going to have friends contacting you or present the opportunities to do fun things with friends and groups, perhaps a lot of whining and dining for you with regards to professional life as well. And the 11th is also the house of income from business, so can generate some income here, you know, quite nicely for you as well. And from there, Venus is going to move into the 12th house in the last part of the month. And Venus in the 12th is very good for artistic, creative work done in private. So if you are a creative type, you know, you could be working a little bit behind the scenes on those sorts of projects. But it can also show taking care of somebody that you love, a bit of selfless service, potentially, or for that matter, a secret infatuation. So perhaps there is some trouble brewing for you in the romantic respect. So this can also be so some of you will be developing private infatuations. Venus in the 12th keeps things, you know, discreet. Okay, so let's look at the transits of this month. We've already discussed the new moon with the waxing phase in the first 2 weeks of October. So let's look at the transits this month. We've already discussed the new moon on the 30th of October, and that waxing phase is going to run for the first 2 weeks of November. So this is really the time to sell yourself and your ideas, to paint a big picture, to open business discussions and negotiations, because you'll have a lot of big picture thinking. You know, you'll be able to paint quite a vivid picture. Your gut instinct is good. So really sell yourself and your ideas. And if you need to present to a group, this will be a very good placement for that. So those sorts of energies are really activated for the first 2 weeks of the month. So on the 7th, the Sun is sextiling Pluto from your 10th to your 12th houses. And this is very good for making changes, you know, to your, if there have been things that have been bothering you professionally or issues that need to come up and be discussed, this is very good, and it's an easy, harmonious aspect. So you'll be able to make a clean sweep to address troubling concerns and issues. The Sun is going to give you a very clear sense of what's going on. So this can really help put you on the same page as others within a professional context. So if there are troubling issues that need to be addressed, then this is a good aspect to do that with, because it's really going to help you get a clean start. So the full moon this month is going to be in your 4th house. So with the first 2 weeks of the month showing all that energy, industry and resourcefulness in the workplace, it can often be the case that personal, emotional, domestic demands have been a little bit neglected. So the full moon can show sometimes a little bit of drama in the home front, or perhaps relatives or parents that need your support, or, you know, they need your assistance on some issues. So the full moon can bring more personal matters to a head for you. So it's finding that balance between work and, you know, your emotional, personal, private life. So it's perhaps time to tend the hearth a little bit. So on the 22nd and the 23rd, there's some very good business aspects. Mercury is sextiling Jupiter, and Mercury is also conjuncting Saturn. And this is in your 11th house, you know, of groups, friends, ideals, and social standing and aspirations. So Mercury and Saturn together give you clear, logical, precise thinking. And Mercury and Jupiter together work very well for giving you all the pieces of the puzzle. So, you know, your thinking has the best of both worlds. You know, you're thinking big picture, but also able to put things into fine print, or pay attention to the fine print, and perhaps get signatures and draw up contracts as well. Mercury and Saturn together gives a little bit more of a serious cast of mind. So there's that attention to detail and rigor in that respect. So very good for business discussions and negotiations, and also for signing contracts. So on the 25th, Venus is conjuncting Pluto in your 12th house, and I've mentioned that Venus can be a secret infatuation. So if this is the case, it's really going to arouse those love feelings, you know, to quite a high degree of intensity. And you know, it's very feeling orientated. You're very sensitive to other people's feelings. But the flip side is that it can make you quite jealous and possessive. If that's the case, just watch out. And Venus and Pluto together, if you are doing creative work in private, then this is really going to help you, put you in the mood to paint, or put you in the mood to write. So very good for creative self-expression also. So on the 26th, Mercury is trining Uranus from your 11th to your 3rd house. So these aspects can show perhaps undertaking a new course of study, which I mentioned earlier with Mercury in the 10th. So it's also a very electrifying mental aspect. So you're feeling alert and awake, and you can problem solve. So if things have been eluding you, this can help you figure out the solutions. But the 3rd house is also the house of studying further. So perhaps you'll undertake a new course of study. Uranus can relate to sciences, technology, maths, you know, or computer skills, but really any novel course of study would do at this time. Or if you need to problem solve, then use the ingenuity behind this aspect for just that end. So the month ends with a new moon in your 11th house. So this new moon in the 11th is the house of hopes, dreams, social aspirations. So, you know, you're considering how, you know, your group associations, how you align with them, you know, trying to forge an independent voice in relation to these groups, but you're also setting out objectives, goals and dreams, and, you know, wondering what to pursue, you know, what would be the best course of action, What do you want to align yourself with? So it can also show the start of new friendships as well. But just be aware there are some troubling aspects with Neptune in this new moon. The sun and the moon are squaring Neptune in your second house. So this wouldn't be a good time to commit to a risky financial venture, on the other hand. Neptune in the second, with the new moon of October the 30th, that one had positive aspects with Neptune. And, those can really put you in touch with the big picture and, connect you, can help you connect all the dots. Difficult aspects with Neptune do quite the opposite. They can confuse things, people can misrepresent themselves, things can seem too good to be true. And because your second house is a financial house and the 11th house can be money from business also, this would be it would really not be a good idea to make a risky speculative venture at this time or commit in that respect. Conversely, Neptune is very good for creative ideas and artistic expressions, so, try and keep it to the goals, dreams, and ideals, but without committing to anything. So don't sign any contracts and, just wait for the fog to lift a little bit before you take or commit to a course of action, especially around financial deals and things that seem too good to be true. Because the 11th house is the house of friendship, it could also be a friend trying to sell you something, and it, may seem better than it is. So don't rush in. Anyway, if you've liked this forecast, please like and subscribe, and thanks so much for listening. I hope you have a great November.